Hello everybody, this is Raimondo for Sycomoreen. Today we are going to discover the devices whose goal is the automation of the overall photovoltaics with automatic liquid enhancements, OPALE, on the Sycomoreen's photovoltaic dairy. The photovoltaic dairy is a 9.5 kilowatt peak solar plant where 70 Kyocera panels, 135 watt peak, are connected to a single phase wire on the ERDF grid. Thus, let's start with the high touch sensors placed on the gutter. The sensor of thermostatic probe is put at the bottom of the panels. The flowing liquid, if it is present. As well as the dusky photosensitive detector. The thermostatic sensor is inside a duct box, which gives a faithful equivalent of the temperature on the panels because it is facing the sun with a nearly identical radiative behavior to the one of the photovoltaics panels. While going across the roof, this probe is linked with a thermostat which is adjustable from the inside. Regarding the dusky photon-sensitive sensor, it is used lasting the winter for diurnal times in order to defrost and remove the snow. If the cover of snow appears, this sensor detects the lack of light and can start the pump. We will go back about this point. Now we are going to the first floor on the internal side, where we observe the two inverters and their power and voltages. And especially the rotary button, which allows to adjust the temperature or start for the pumping. The usual value is around 20 Celsius degree, but one can change it depending on whether one wants to accentuate the cooling of the panels with a low value, or on the contrary, to get hot water with a high value. A few words about hot water. OPALE can also produce hot water by using the photovoltaic field as a solar thermal receiver, especially if a removable greenhouse is mounted in front of the panels. But one must be aware that to get a lot of hot water and a high electric yield are contradictory goals, and only a compromise is possible. Let's go immediately up the ground floor, where is the heart of the installation. One notices the tanks of treats and the pumps. The pump is managed by two independent electric circuits, summary and wind tree. The summary side receives the thermostatic signal and launches it inside a switch with programmable timetables. And this last transmits the signal during the diurnal period to a time relay. This time relay works with several intermittent strategies. And finally, the pump is powered. Therefore, the pumping automatically stops if any of the three following events occurs. The time relay turns off the power, the switch with timetables is out of a diurnal period, or the thermostatic signal vanishes because the panels are sufficiently cooled. On the contrary, the pumping automatically works again under the condition that the three following events simultaneously occur. Firstly, the thermostatic signal appears because of a sufficient heating of the panels. Secondly, the switch with timetables is staying at a diurnal period. And thirdly, the time relay is giving the power. Now let's speak about the wind tree circuit. It is totally independent of the summary circuit. It includes another thermostatic relay which probes the temperature of the defrosting fluid. This relay has two exits. If the temperature of the fluid is low, the exit number 1 is powered and optionally can heat the fluid through an electric resistance placed in the tank. The exit number 2 is not powered. If the temperature of the fluid is high, the exit number 1 is not powered anymore, and the exit number 2 is powered. Then the pumping is possible if some other conditions take place. Indeed, the wind tree electric output also receives the dusky signal and gives it to the switch with a programmable timetable. This last transmits the signal during the diurnal time for 5 minutes at the beginning of every hour. The defrosting and removing of the snow can only be done if the three following events simultaneously occurs. Firstly, the temperature of the fluid is quite high, usually more than 5 degrees Celsius. Secondly, the dusky photosensitive sensor is covered by the snow. And thirdly, the switch with timetables is on a 5 minutes period at the beginning of each diurnal hour. On the contrary, the removing of the snow stops as soon as one of the following events occurs. The temperature of the fluid is too low, usually less than 5 Celsius degrees. The dusky sensor is not covered by snow anymore, and the switch with timetables doesn't stay on the first 5 minutes of each diurnal period, diurnal hour. The change from the Sycomoreen mode towards the wintry mode is manually done at the end of the fall. Inversely, the transition from the wintry mode to the Sycomoreen mode is manually done at the beginning of the spring. Regarding the hydraulic aspect, the ascending pipes and the watering rail automatically purge themselves during the winter at every new pumping by the simple effect of the gravity. That allows to avoid the frosting of the fluid if it stays in direct and prolonged contact with the intense cold weather. On the contrary, for summer where the frost can't occur, an anti-return valve maintains the column of fluid in place to minimize the energy of the pumping. Finally, the bottom of one of the tanks is equipped with a float fed in water to grant a minimal level of fluid, about 150 liters, that during all the year. If the installation doesn't benefit from a faucet with water on demand, it is possible to put a pump with a floating switch in order to stop it automatically in case of a too low level of fluid, and on the contrary, to allow again its start as soon as the level is sufficient. As a conclusion, the arrangement of all these devices and these strategies secure and automate the overall photovoltaics with automated liquid enhancements, OPALE by Sycomoreen.